Is we live? Is we? I believe we are live. We're Frankie from Flatbush on FSPN, the Frankie Sports Programming Network. We're keeping an eye on the Hall of Fame game tonight. The first game of the season, the NFL season, that is. And so I thought we would do a live stream. Why not keep an eye on these third and fourth stringers for the Chargers and the Lions. And right now, they're announcing the Hall of Fame inductees for your Hall of Fame in 2025. And so there's a little bit of ceremonies going on, but we can chit chat about whatever it is that needs to be chitted and chatted about. Let me know in the chat if you can see and hear me okay. We always have to do a check in. Looks like four people getting into the Hall of Fame. You got Antonio Gates, you got Eric Allen, you got Jared Allen, and somebody else. I don't know. Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast for NBC. But let me know in the chat if you can hear and see me okay. We need a microphone check. We need a microphone check. 1, 2. Microphone check. I'd appreciate it if you'd let me know if you could hear and see me okay in the chat and let me know if everything looks and sounds okay because it looks that way from my end. But of course, you never do really know until you hear it from the folks. Change all this. All right, so let me know if you can see and hear me okay in the chat. Right now, what they're doing on the television screen is Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth are having a little chit chat themselves. And we'll just keep an eye on some of these people. Some of the people that are going to be playing include Trey Lance. You may remember him. Quarterback. Hi Karate is here. He says you're good. All right. Thank you, Mr. Karate. Thank you. Braden is here all the way from New Zealand. Good old Braden from New Zealand, licking chicken. All right. Thank you very much, you fine gentlemen. But we'll keep an eye on some of these people. Now, the big breaking news story of the day, in case you missed it, it just broke a little while ago. Scary Terry McLaurin, not happy with his contract, now asking for a trade from the Washington Commanders. And so the commies, and Sterling Sharp also gets in there. That's a good class of the. That's a good Hall of Fame class, I think. That's a good Hall of Fame class. Um, But Scary Terry McLaurin has asked for a trade. So that's the big news coming out here in the last that little while, 30 minutes ago or so. And but I do not believe that he will get traded. I do not. I do not think the Washington Commanders are trading Scary Terry. I think they will work out a contract. But the Washington Commanders are in a very interesting position, I would say. Uh, they have a good young team. They got the quarterback, they got the coach, they got the GM. They made a surprising playoff run. Jaden Daniels looking good, and uh, so everything's on the up and up. Now, on the ownership side, don't forget they're owned by the Harris and Blitzer people, Josh Harris, David Blitzer. Now, those are the people who own the 76ers, the New Jersey Devils, and the Washington Commanders, and Crystal Palace, the football team, the soccer team over in England. And guess who else owns the Crystal Palace? Woody Johnson. So these are business partners of Woody Johnson's. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle this situation and if Woody Johnson learns anything from it, from his partners. No, we're not going to get him. Of course, we will not get him. Now, I'd want him. Okay, he's very good, but we're not going to get him. He's not going to want to come here, and and there'll be other teams that would be that'll be a better fit for him. Now, if he does get traded, which I do not anticipate at all, but if I don't know, the Commanders lost their minds and they said we're not paying this guy under any circumstance, they're going to pay him. Trust me, Braden. But let's say they lost their mind. This guy wants 40 million. I don't know. He doesn't want 40 million, but um, then he's going to go. Guess where he's going to go? Put in the chat where you got if he were to get traded. JoJo's here. If Scary Terry got traded, where do you think he would go? If I do not think he's going to get traded, but let's say he did, where would he go? You put it in the chat. I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. in my opinion, uh, because there's a very logical landing place for him in my mind, and it's the perfect fit actually, and it's not the Jets. We're hardly the perfect fit for anybody. We're not exactly. Again, we're not a preferred destination and location for most players. It's one of the reasons we had to sign Sauce and Garrett. They were happy to be here, so you got to give them money to be here because hey, we play in New Jersey where the weather's horrible. The stadium is disgustingly terrible, and the playing surface is like playing on concrete. This is not attractive, and you're risking. I mean, every player risks injury all day long playing in this league. It's a violent league played by very large men at high velocity. So you're risking your body all the time anyway. And then on top of that, we play on concrete essentially, and that's not good. So no, we're not his preferred destination, and if he gets traded, he's not coming here. But I don't see any guesses in the chat. I guess you guys haven't thought about it. I'm not seeing any guesses in the chat. Use your noodles. What would be a perfect place for him to go? Use your noodles. And they're doing they're singing the national anthem now at the Hall of Fame game. This guy with his nice Class A's on, very nice. He's got the black. Is it only Special Forces that wear the black cap now? I forget. Airborne, we wear the red one. Berets, that is. Still no guesses in the chat. Okay, you guys really just don't know, huh? It's amazing. Jojo says Buffalo. No, Buffalo doesn't have the money. The place to go for him is New England. It's the New England Patriots. They could use a wide receiver like him on the roster. They have spots on the roster. They also have over $60 million in cap space right now. So they got plenty of money to play with. Buffalo could make it work. Any team can make any contract work ultimately. But Buffalo really doesn't have big cap space. And I think Buffalo is pretty happy with their receivers because they got all the different types that they want. They don't have like the big name guy, really, but they got the guy to go up and get a 50-50 ball in Keon Coleman. They got the little shifty guys in Elijah Moore and Khalil Shakir. They got the two tight ends who are function, as pass catchers and do that well. So I think Buffalo has the mix that they want. So could they make it work? Yeah, any team could make it work, but it's not an ideal fit. The ideal fit is really New England. They have the roster spot for him. They have the money for him. And it would be attractive to him because, hey, Drake May, this is an up-and-coming guy. Mike Vrabel just got hired, the best hire of the offseason as far as head coaches go. So Vrabel, made it out of clay. Go to a great coach, go to a storied franchise with 6 rings and all of that, and go with the young quarterback, Drake May, who's very promising and looks like he's going to be their quarterback he's going to be their franchise quarterback. So to me, the New England Patriots make the most sense. There's other teams that also make sense. There's a lot of teams that could use a wide receiver as good as him, but most teams are not in as good of financial shape as the Patriots, or they just don't. They don't have a desperate need. I mean, everybody could use a Terry McLaurin, but that's the way it goes. JoJo says, still not sure about Drake May. Well, you're never sure about anybody, but he's looking good. I'll tell you that much. He's looking like, we can never be sure. There's a caveat with every quarterback. We're still not sure about Drake May. Even Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels looks like a slam dunk. Oh my God, this guy is so good. But even C.J. Stroud, who looked great his rookie year, took a step back. So now it's like, okay, let's see what C.J. Does he take a step forward? Does he take another step back? In which case you go, hmm. And don't forget, Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler as a rookie, and then what happened? Now he's a career backup. So these quarterbacks, you're never sure about anything. But May is looking good. All reports out of New England are he's looking great. There's really no doubts about him. Now we got to see what he does in the games, of course. But just looking at reading the tea leaves, you look at it and say, okay, there's a promising young quarterback. That situation's looking good, and you figure with Mike Vrabel there and Josh McDaniels, who has failed as a head coach. Ooh, Fumbalaya on the kickoff, but has always been a good offensive coordinator. I'd like to see Josh McDaniels be an offensive coordinator without Tom Brady. That's what I'd like to see. And the Chargers got it, so the Lions Fumbalaya. And the Chargers pick it up. So Jimmy Harbaugh fired up about his special teamers. Making a hit, making a recovery. Now we got to see the replay, make sure he Fumbalaya it. But that's not good for this return man, whoever that may be. That young man ran into his own man. That's not good. Well, he might be down. I'm not sure. Ball's moving. And most of these people on the field tonight, we're not going to know who the heck they are, really. So that's just, Zylstra is like their third or fourth tight end. Tesla, you see on the field there, that's a rookie wide receiver that they drafted this year, Isaac Tesla. Hi, Karate says he's cut that guy. Yeah, first thing you do is fumble on television. Not good. Not good. Get that guy out of here. Dan Campbell's like, this guy. Now, they do have new headphones, and you look at those headsets, they look pretty nice as opposed to this piece of garbage. But look at the headset they got on the sideline there. Yeah, he looks down to me, but you can't see the ball there. It's hidden. It's hidden by another player's buttocks. That's not good. Pittman, you're hiding the ball with your buttocks, sir. Mm-hmm. No, it's coming out, I guess. Yeah. Good call. All right, good call. Good call, but that guy's cut. 15, you're out of here. Get that guy out of here. We can't be having Fumbalayas on the first play. He's a linebacker. Why was the linebacker running the ball back? What the hell's going on around here? The hell's going on around here? Now they're still looking at it. But 15 was the one who was returning the kick, and he's a linebacker? Why? Why was that happening, Dan Campbell? MCDC is just going crazy. Now, of course, MCDC, Motor City Dan Campbell, has has two new coordinators, and a bunch of new coaches. So let's see how the Lions look this year. We're not going to be able to tell from this game, but just in general, maybe they might take a step back. Now we get a chance to look at old Trey Lance, the number 3 pick, right after Zachy Wilson. And he's never really gotten an opportunity with the 49ers or anywhere else. Then he went to the Cowboys, fakes a handoff, rolls to his right, throws. That's a nice little play to the tight end, gets about 9.5 yards. Yeah, that looked pretty good. Will Dissly, I believe, was the receiver. So, Trey Lance, can Jim Harbaugh do what he did for Alex Smith and Andrew Luck and Colin Kaepernick? Can he do the same for Trey Lance? That's the question that Chargers fans will have. Maybe Jim Harbaugh is the real quarterback whisperer. What about that? As we look, here's a running play. There's a flag on the play, but he gains the first down yardage. Let's see about the flag. Looks like an offside penalty, but we'll have to see. Yep. Offsides, that's going to be declined. Oh, well, you just accepted. Yeah, might as well just take it. Number 53, Nawaske. Okay, you're cut. Get him out of here. Doesn't know where the line of scrimmage is. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Can't you see the ball, dummy? Get him out of here, right, Karate? He's cut. Oh, you got another guy offsides. The hell's going on? Oh, number 8 in the backfield, I believe. That is Omarion Hampton. So that's a running back they took early in the draft. So he might be good. Let's watch him a little bit. I believe that's him, number 8. So Trey Lance in the shotgun hands it off. Oh, he looks pretty quick. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, that is Hampton. Okay. So O'Mara him. So there's some players we can watch here, who are going to be people who have an impact on the season. It's not just all, uh, uh, you know, future garbage men and UPS truck drivers. Some of that. But yeah. All right. Now we got Lance under center, man in motion right to left. Looks like 22 personnel, and he fumbles the snap. Oh, that's not good. Fumbleia of the snap. Okay, Mr. Lance, that's not good. I don't know what happened here. But fumbling of snap is not good. JoJo says, AFC West. Yeah, that's going to be a banger of a division for a while here. That's a banger of a division. All right, 3rd down and 3 now. We got Trey Lance in the shotgun, 11 personnel. He hands the ball off on an RPO type play, and a nice tackle by 23. Good job by the defense. Held him there. Now he should probably go for a field goal, or he might say, you know what? Let's see Trey Lance go on a 4th and 1 here. Nice tackle. Hampton, that's not good. Open field tackle. This is the drill. That looks like Rocky Yassin for the Lions. Looks like he's going to be a backup DB for them this year. But, this is the kind of drill that Aaron Glenn's been doing in practice, one-on-one. That time it was the running back and the defensive back. Now they bring in the big boys, and he rolls out to his right, throwing. Nice pass. So, pretty good for Trey Lance. I mean, not bad. A little fumble eye on the snap, but a couple of nice pass plays rolling to his right. Maybe the whole key for Trey Lance, you got to get him out of the pocket, maybe. So, nice job. He brought in the big boys, made him think it was going to be a running play. They faked the running play, got Lance moving, and then he finds one of the tight ends. Well, nicely done. I mean, it's not too difficult. Little ball pat, nice ball placement, got it over, up and over, touchdown. Don't do the easy things. Don't make the easy things hard. So, nice job by Mr. Lance. Looked good, looked comfortable, looked nice. But I would say don't have your linebacker returning kicks. That would be a coaching point for me. To Mr. MCDC, why is a linebacker returning kicks? Maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know. Trey Lance looks decent. Yeah, he looked decent on that one. Looked decent on that one. So, he's not going to play for them unless there's an injury. But, if Jim Harbaugh can develop him, that's good for Lance. Lance will go somewhere else next year and maybe, get a starting gig somewhere. So that'll be good for him. We should also see DJ Ukulele in this game. So just checking X.com to see if there's any new breaking news, late breaking news. And it does not appear that there is any. Oh, we'll have to, after this game, I'll have to check out Origins 3 is out, and it's about Michael Carter the second. So the first 2 episodes were excellent. I think the Jets are really excellent at, one thing the Jets are excellent at is making videos. It's just a football team, but they got a good videography team. I tell you, that one Jets Drive Films, they are really good at what they do. Now, if we could get the team to actually play football good, then we'd have something. But you can't ask for everything. If the football team can't be good, at least we got at least we got a filmmaking crew that's decent. Yeah, at least we got something. What is this a commercial for? John Tesh. He's still alive? What? NBA on NBC. Oh boy. Kickoff rule changes. Dead ball spot on touchbacks that don't touch in landing zone are changed to the 35-yard line. Trailing opponent can declare onside kick at any point, not just in the fourth quarter. All right. Well, this guy, 15, really wants to make the team as a kick returner slash linebacker. Okay. That's a little weird. I guess there must be a story there. Dude's a linebacker, but also kick returner. That's pretty strange. Now we got, Kyle Allen. Hey, Kenny Yeboah is on the field, everybody. Number 88. There he is. Look, he's getting screen time. But Kyle Allen is not exactly, it's an exciting quarterback to watch in preseason. I'm not getting the. It's not, Trey Lance is somebody interesting to watch. This Kyle Allen fella, I'm not interested to watch him. What is he doing? We don't need to see Kyle Allen, let alone Allen Kyle. Holding penalty, probably. Man, these Lions are making a lot of mistakes. First of all, you had the fumbleia. Then you gave up a touchdown to Trey Lance. Now you got a holding penalty against your third tight end, or whatever he is, Zylstra. Second tight end, third tight end, fourth tight end, I don't know. Your first problem was you had a play from scrimmage with Kenny Yeboah on the field, and you didn't throw it to him. That was stupid. I mean, what are we doing? Get Yeboah the ball. Only good things happen when you throw Kenny Yeboah the ball, and nobody seems to realize it. And it's very frustrating. Kyle Allen turns around, or is it Allen Kyle? We'll never know. Never trust a man with two first names. That's a universal truth. Allen Kyle, Kyle Allen, we don't know. It could be either way. Johnny Moe in the booth. J Mo, John Morton, former New York Jets coordinator back in the day. And now he's with the Leones. So we'll see how he does in his first go around replacing Big Ben Johnson. Now Kyle Allen, or Allen Kyle, is in the shotgun. And back to pass, looks to his right, looks to the center, throws, nice pass, dropped by the receiver. So that's not good. The Lions are full of mistakes. Now, what's going on? You would think that the Lions are going to be disciplined. MCDC. They're going to drill accountability and fundamentals and grit and everything. They're making mistakes all over the place. Fumbleia, give up a touchdown to Trey Lance, holding penalty, and here's a nice pass right in his hands, and the kid drops it. These guys stink. Maybe, well, these are all the backups, of course, so it doesn't really matter, but you would think they'd be a little more disciplined. Craig Reynolds running around. Now they got a punt. Let's see if they can get a punt off. And like I said, they got new coaches, so maybe these coaches haven't, really settled in yet in terms of discipline. Because even your second and third and fourth stringers shouldn't be making mistakes if you have a disciplined team. We need some discipline around here. I mean, after all, here, look at the Chargers. They got the same quality of players, playing. And Trey Lance goes down the field no problem. La-di-da touchdown. And that's Trey Lance. Kyle Shanahan couldn't get anything out of him. Mike McCarthy couldn't get anything out of him. He goes to Jim Harbaugh. No problem. No problem. Harbaugh can turn him around. Harbaugh turned around, Colin Kaepernick, Alex Smith, J.J. McCarthy at Michigan, Luck at Stanford. Herbo has been with the Chargers. He's not going to turn Herbo around. Herbo is Herbo, but maybe he could turn Trey Lance around. He's going to turn all these people around. I guess he's the greatest coach ever, but never won a Super Bowl. So Well, now here's Lance again. Fakes a handoff, looks out in the middle, looks to his right, and dumps it off to the running back for a 5 or 6 yard gain. That is not Hampton. That's somebody named Patterson. Maybe Jared Patterson, former Washington commander. Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, you got to love all those coaches out there in the AFC West. It's going to be a tough division. Trey Lance, 3 for 3, 20 yards, touchdown. Starting out hot. Now he's in the shotgun. Got 11 personnel, man in motion going left to right. Fakes the handoff to nobody and then throws, and that's no good. So that play was looking ugly right from the start. And he threw it away, essentially. So probably a smart play by Mr. Lance. And the 49ers traded a whole bunch of draft picks to get Mr. Lance, and then they didn't really use him. He got hurt. He had injury problems. And then they found Brock Purdy, and they were like, "Forget this Trey Lance guy. We don't need this Trey Lance." Oh, sure, we traded 70,000 draft picks to get him, but still, yeah, which just tells you we should have traded down that year. We should have fleeced somebody. Well, now Lance is in the shotgun, looks to his right, going deep down the right sideline, and that's a beautiful pass. So look at this Trey Lance. He's looking really nice. Here's a quarterback. Boy, all you got to do is put him with Jim Harbaugh. And bada bing, bada boom. He can dominate against the second and third stringers. Looks left, looks right, puts it right in the bucket. Boom. Nice and easy. He's making it look easy over here. Now he hands the ball off to the running back and gets a couple of yards. So, yeah, Trey Lance, that's the early story. Looking like a real quarterback. Maybe he's getting it, finally getting it. Keandre Lambert Smith, whoever that is. But he looked good on that one. Lance down the shotgun. That looked like a false start. They didn't call it, but running play doesn't go very far. So now it'll be third down. These things are the things we should look at, even though it is the preseason and he is going up against backups. We got to look at these third downs. Third and long. They know you're going to pass. Okay. Should be about 3rd and 6 or 7 or something like that. And 3rd and 6. All right. So third and medium. They know you're pretty much going to pass it. Can you get a completion for a first down? This is where you make your money. This is the money down right here. So let's see if he can consistently convert these third downs where they know he's going to pass. One of these tests we like to look. Now he looks left, looks center, can't find anybody, starts to run, can't find anybody, starts to run again, and still running. And so that was not good. Okay. These young quarterbacks, I tell you. But that's the money down right there. They know you're going to pass. They go into their pass defense, and you have to execute and convert first downs. Now, it's just one of them, so we'll see. But that's the sort of thing you look at with these young QBs. Now, he didn't take a sack. He didn't throw a pick or anything, so that's good. And they're in field goal range, so play it safe, get the field goal type of thing. And that's what you do. How old is Herbo? He's not very old. He's, what, in his 20s? Dicker the kicker. Nope. Dinks it. Dicker the kicker doinked it. That was a doink by Dicker. A Dicker doink. Dicker doink. Herbo. He's probably in his late 20s. Let's look it up. We have the internet, guys. We could look stuff up. Justin Herbert. Wikipedia. 27. Yeah. So he'll be in the league about 10 more seasons, probably. So he'll be in this league for a long, long time. Checking for news. No news at all. So yeah, 27 years old, karate. He's going to be in the league for at least 10 more seasons. Long way to go for Mr. Herbo. And that's the beauty of nailing the quarterback right out of the draft. You get him for long, you get your franchise quarterback for a long, long time. And we tried it with old Zach Wilson, no bueno. We tried it with Sammy Darnold, no bueno. We tried it with Mark Sanchez, no bueno. So we can't get it right. But then again, look at the Bears. Bears haven't gotten it right for 100 years. So at least we had Chad Pennington, and at least we had Joe Namath, and at least we had, you know, Vinny that 1 year. We had 1 year of Vinny. We had Chad, who was okay. We had Namath for a short period of time. And the Bears haven't even had that. So, and lots of teams. I mean, look at the Browns. Goldstein coming in with the hot take. This is not a hot take, Goldstein. What are you talking about? Lance sucks. Well, he has sucked. What about improvement, Goldstein? What about a young man sticking to it and improving over time by putting in hard work and really being dedicated to his craft? What about that, Goldstein? It's better to say Lance has sucked. But can he be good? Can Jim Harbaugh turn him around the same way he turned around Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith? Remember, Alex Smith stunk. Number 1 overall pick, Alex Smith, stunk until Jim Harbaugh got his hands on him. And what about Andrew Luck, Stanford? That's where Jim Harbaugh was. Got him on the straight and narrow. And what about J.J. McCarthy? All these people. Maybe Harbaugh can do it. Goldstein. Kyle Allen hands it off to Reynolds, and they force him out of bounds. And again, the Lions are making the most critical mistake you can make. You put Yeboah on the field, and you don't throw Yeboah the ball. What's going on here? These people don't understand. When you have a Kenny Yeboah, you throw him the ball. You don't let him sit around and not catch one. This is stupid. Why are they not doing it? Deshaun Hand had 1 sack last year. All right, give him a hand. 1 sack for Deshaun Hand. Forget McMahon? Who's McMahon? No, I didn't forget McMahon. That's not how it's spelled, but McMahon was not a good quarterback at all. What are you talking about? McMahon sucked. And he was really only even okay for a short period of time. Yeah, they won in 85. And it's not spelled McMahon, it's McMahon. But he was more of a character than a good quarterback. Go back and look at the stats, man. No bueno. That team was all about defense and running. They had sweetness. That's what they had. Walter Payton. That's what they had. And they had, of course, the amazing defense. And McMahon was okay. It was like Sanchez with us in 09 and 10. With the defense, it was basically the same, except they were better. The 85 Bears team. And they only won the one, remember. People think they had some kind of dynasty. They won once, and that's it. And then after that season, Buddy Ryan left. And then they were never to be heard from again, pretty much. And the Giants took over and other teams took over. But so McMahon just wasn't a good quarterback. He was the quarterback of the Super Bowl winning team. That's what it was. Their best quarterback in their history is actually Sid Luckman from the 1940s, believe it or not. Kyle Allen looking. No, that looked ugly. Boy, what did I tell you? 3rd and 9. See, with these quarterbacks, 3rd down and long. This is pretty much all you got to watch for the most part. It's amazing how they can't do it. And they called intentional grounding. Also, he couldn't find anybody. He throws it away, and they call intentional grounding as well. That's very, very bad, Mr. Allen. Kyle Allen. Kyle. Whatever your name is. Look at this guy. Can't find anybody. Chuck it. Although 13's right there. I don't know why they're calling that. I mean, he wasn't looking for the pass, but the idea is he's supposed to be in the area. He doesn't have to be looking for the ball. Oh, that was 2nd down? Well, same difference. That makes it even worse. uh, at least we are not the Browns. Yeah, there's a lot of teams in the ghetto with us, including the Browns. McMahon was a leader. Yeah, he was a good dude. He was a leader. They had a lot of leaders. Remember the coach? He was a leader. Remember Walter Payton? Walter Payton was one of the best running backs of all time. Go back and watch Walter Payton. It's amazing to watch. Incredible dude. So fast and powerful. Walter Payton is, I think, underappreciated. Incredible. And of course, the all-time best defense. Of all the best defense, oh my goodness. See what I tell you, third and long, these quarterbacks, they can't do anything. That's what makes that's the difference between a good quarterback and a bad quarterback. Third and long, the bad ones, incomplete, sackaroonie, fumbleaya, interception. And, anybody can complete a pass on first down. You know what I mean? Look at this guy. What is he even looking at? Guy is not open for at all. He was never ever open. What was he doing? And Kyle Allen's a experienced backup. Why? Why? Give me Trey Lance over Kyle Allen and Allen Kyle or whoever. Told you, never trust a man with two first names. That's the truth. I mean, but that was about as easy a pick as you're going to ever get. The guy threw it right to him. And now Trey Lance has another good field position right here. Hands the ball off. Guy goes to the hard hit. Goes to the 1 yard line. Vidal Rock Yassin is tackling well. I'll give him that much. But look at those headsets they have now. Those are really sweet, actually. Much better than what they had before, so that's good to know. They're also ruggedized for any weather condition, they said. And Trey Lance hands it off again. Does he get in? Looks like he did. Gore Vidal, or whatever this guy's name is, Vidal of some kind. Kimani Vidal. There you go. Touchdown, Vidal. Sassoon. Hi, karate. Okay. Otis Wilson. Yeah, they're a great linebacker. I mean, they had Ron Rivera was on that team. You remember? Did you know that? Yes, that Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron. Otis Wilson went to TJ High School, Brooklyn, New York, Orange Wave. Yeah, I mean, that was just the best defense of all time. And they had Walter Payton, an incredible offensive line, Mike Ditka as the coach, and Buddy Ryan as the defensive coordinator. I mean, McMahon really had very little to do. He was a tough guy. Everybody liked him. He had a great big personality, of course. But yeah, it was really run the ball and play defense on that team. They had Refrigerator Perry. They had everything. They had it all. They had it going on. But it only lasted 1 year. That's it. That's it. And that was a long, long time ago. Long, long time ago. I can still remember how that music used to make me feel. Remember the Super Bowl shuffle? That wasn't as much of a classic, but that was controversial at the time. They also had Willie Gault. Remember Willie Gault? He was on that team, and I think he put together the Super Bowl shuffle. That was Willie Gault's idea. Remember, he was the track star who played wide receiver? Willie Gault. Remember him? This is a strange commercial. Man, it's almost like Apple wants to creep you out. Yeah. But yeah, going back to Washington, it'll be interesting to see what the Commanders do with this scary Terry situation. They have a lot going on. They got the stadium situation going on, and um, so they're trying to go back to the old RFK site, which is in Washington D.C., rather than where they are now. And on top of all of that, we got the president of the United States wanting them to return back to the Washington Redskins name. And he's saying he might throw some monkey wrenches into moving back into RFK if they don't. So, and the reports are that they're actually thinking about doing that, returning, going back to the old name, which they probably want to do anyway. I mean, the Redskins have such marketing power behind them. They had such tradition and uh, just this historical name that everybody knew. And who the hell knows Washington Commanders? That's stupid. They're the Redskins. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. So it'll be interesting to see how these owners react to all of this. Stadium things, player wants a new contract, et cetera, et cetera. And the owners of the Commanders are business partners of Woody Johnson's for Crystal Palace. So that's what I'm kind of curious to see how it all plays out and if Woody Johnson learns anything about how to maneuver because we got to get out of this stadium. We got to get out of that stadium. We got to go. We got to get out. But I don't think Woody knows how to do it. So hopefully he learns a thing or two from his new business partners. All right, now the Lions got the ball, and Kyle Allen still trying to do something. Rolls out to his left, throws, and he hits the receiver. I think that's Tesla. He's electric. He's Tesla. Nice play there. Looking on first down. Tesla with the reception. We'll see if he'll be a contributor for their team. He's on the special teams. In this game, we'll see how it works out for him. But he's got a nice name, Isaac Tesla. That's a good electric name for a wide receiver. Now they're interviewing Sterling Sharp, Shannon's brother. So now the Sharp brothers are both in the Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool. Um, Kyle Allen under center, fakes the handoff, looks down the middle, can't find anybody, looks to his right, now throws to a wide open, and it's Tesla again. So maybe this Isaac Tesla's got something to him. A couple of nice catches here, a couple of nice throws by Kyle Allen, got to give it to him, but of course not third and long. So again, they're throwing it early, which is smart. If a guy's going to have a problem on third and long, maybe start throwing it on first down. Make it a little easy for him. That's pretty smart play calling by Johnny Moe. And looks like he got 12 personnel in there. No, running play and doesn't go too far. Score is now 14-0. Charges over the Leones. And they continue to talk to Sterling Sharp. Can we show the football game? Thank you very much. Condensed formation here out of the shotgun, Allen. 2nd and 12. Throwing over the middle. And he's got another completion. This time to Love It, whoever that is. Who is really the backup quarterback for the Lions? Is it Kyle Allen? Is he their number two? Can't be. They can't be relying on this guy as a backup. No way. Let's look it up. Throwing a floater down the right side, and there's another interception. This guy stinks. Every third down, he can't do anything. Depth charts. Let's look at the Detroit Lions depth charts. Lions. Oh, Hendon Hooker, right. So this is their third string quarterback, so I guess that's fine. I mean, you'd like him to stop throwing interceptions. Yeah, preseason. I mean, this guy's been in the league a long time. Why is he so bad? He's kind of like Tim Boyle, you know. They just keep getting chances. Well, he's tall. There's a lot of people they just go, well, he's tall, so throws a nice spiral, you know, and they just keep getting chance after chance after chance. But he keeps throwing interceptions. Yeah, but he's tall. Did you see how tall he is? Did you see the spiral on the interception, though? I mean, it's a beautiful spiral. Yeah, but it's an interception. All right, now here's Trey Lance operating under center, fakes a handoff, looks to his left, can't find anybody. Here comes the blitz, linebacker Saccharuni. So 15 looks like he's got some speed at least. This is the linebacker slash kick returner. Long hair. How much time are you going to spend interviewing Sterling Sharp? Can we please stop with it? I hate these interviews. I don't care who they're interviewing. Ha ha ha, laughity laugh. Ha ha ha. It's not funny. Let's go back to football. Can we watch some football? How many questions can you possibly have for Sterling Sharp? Okay, now they're spread out. Lands back to pass over the middle. He's got a man. 6-yard gain. So now we got to, let's see the money down, third down. Kyle Allen headed toward the practice squad, but he's their third stringer, so it could be P squad or could be 53 man, third quarterback, inactive, but emergency quarterback. One of those deals. They don't even have a fourth guy listed. Usually you got a fourth guy in there for a camp arm. They don't have anybody listed. So now 3rd and 8. Let's see if Lance can operate on 3rd and long. The money down for quarterbacks. Out of the shotgun, looks down the middle, now looks to his right, fires complete, but way short of the line. And that's another thing quarterbacks do. If you want to play it safe, you got 8 yards to go, you throw a 4-yard, pick route, and it's like, or stick route, I guess you'd call it. You get a completion, but that's not a good completion. That's terrible. That's not how you win football games. You need 8 yards, you throw a 4-yard route. That's not how you win football games, Trey Lance. So he's done some nice things, but then he's done some Trey Lance things. So, but I mean, Kyle Allen, I would assume he's going to make the 53 man. I mean, he doesn't have to. I mean, their backup's Hendon Hooker, and Hendon Hooker is not an experienced player as far as the NFL is concerned. So, boy, they got some depth issues here. They might be on the lookout for a quarterback. I wonder how comfortable they are with Hendon Hooker as the number 2. I mean, this Kyle Allen is pretty bad, so he's not a threat to Hooker, but they might be looking for an upgrade at a backup quarterback. And that's another interesting thing is if Fields proves out not to be the guy, which we're hoping doesn't happen, but let's say Fields is just not good, we're not winning, it's not going well at all. Trade deadline, we may be able to trade Tyrod Taylor to somebody who needs a quarterback, get some nice 3rd round, 4th round picks here. So that's also a nice thing for carrying a guy like Tyrod. Might as well pick up some draft capital if we're not going to. I mean, if we're going to be bad anyways, and we're going to need a quarterback anyways. So, but that's a team because if Goff gets hurt, they're in trouble. I mean, Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen. If Goff gets hurt, this team is sunk. And they're in their Super Bowl window now. The team's looking good. Otherwise, the offensive line, The offensive line got shook up this year, so they'll have to see how this new center performs. They got Graham Glasgow there, Glasgow. They're replacing the retired Frank Ragnow. They got Christian Mahogany at left guard and Tate Ratledge, the rookie, at right guard. So the interior of that line is basically going to determine the how this offense does. If they're good, this will be a good offense again, probably. If not, they got problems, I would say. They're also not terribly deep at wide receiver, but maybe this Isaac Tesla will be good. They got three good ones. But beyond that, they're probably looking at Tesla trying to establish a spot. And I guess Khalif Raymond. They picked up Malik Taylor. That's our guy. And they got Kenny Yeboah listed as the fourth tight end, Zylstra as the third one. And defense still looking pretty good. This should be a team that, barring any major injuries, really should be going for the Super Bowl. Super Bowl window for Detroit Lions. Bet you never thought you'd hear that being said by anybody. All right, now you got Kyle Allen back on the field. I guess this Kyle Allen's going to play the whole game, huh? They got nobody else. We got to watch this fucker the whole game? Jesus criminy. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I mean, at least with Trey Lance, you can watch and see, is he developing? What is he doing? This is Kyle Allen. What are we going to find out? That he really, really, really stinks? I guess we can watch Isaac Tesla. I guess he's looking pretty good so far. He could be like their fourth receiver or fifth, like that. Well, it's the second quarter already. 14:29 remaining. 14-0. Chargers on top of the Lions. Trey Lance had a couple of good short drives and otherwise has looked not great. But did have a nice touch pass down the right sideline and had a nice touchdown pass. Also moving to his right, we got a virtual measurement. Is this how it's going to look during the season? They're going to show a cartoon? What? No, this is looking weird. They're going to show us a cartoon of the first down measurement. I'm not buying that. What? I'm not buying that one. Now, at least you don't have to watch the Chain Gang anymore. But they got to show you something else that gives you assurance that they're actually measuring the thing. I don't want to look at no cartoon thing. They're going to be playing games with that crap. We know how the NFL does, especially when the Kansas City Chiefs are involved. And Kyle Allen now under center. Kyle fakes a handoff, rolls out to his right, throws, and he's got another receiver. It's Zylstra, 84. And again, the Lions continue to make the mistake of not throwing the ball to Kenny Yeboah. These people don't understand what to do. And you have no points. There's a big reason for it. It's because you have Kenny Yeboah on your team, and he's on the field, and he's playing, and you refuse to throw him the ball. And you sit up there and you wonder why. I wonder why we don't have any points right now. Well, there's a reason. There's a goddamn reason. It's because you're being stupid. You're playing the Zylstra guy. Nobody likes a Zylstra. I mean, his name is Zylstra. Well, what is he going to do? You know what I mean? Allen now back to pass, and there's another whistle and a flag, and it looks like timeout was called. So they couldn't even get a playoff. They couldn't even get a playoff. And now they're showing this Tesla kid, and he was a Lions fan his whole life and all of this. Well, isn't that a good story? Hope he doesn't turn out like Jeremy Ruckert. What's up with his name? Tesla. Tesla. Is that like Teoscar Hernandez? Remember that guy? Teoscar Hernandez. Used to be a guy who played baseball. I said, that'd be great if we could just put Tay in front of all the names. Tay Brian, Tay Jojo, Tay Frankie. All right, Kyle Allen's under the center right now. Got looks like 12 personnel in the game. Hands it off. Yep, and he's got a first down. Nice jump cut by Reynolds. See, you put Yeboah in the game. He either blocks it up for you or he's going to get open for a first down. So you throw it to him. You don't throw it to Zylstra. You throw it to Yeboah. That's how it works. Look at old Kenny. He's on the right-hand side of the line. Now Kyle Allen is under center. You got 21 personnel in there, looks like. Hands it off to Reynolds. They run right behind Yeboah, and it's a first down every time. It works out 100% of the time. It works out 60% of the time. That's what you got to know. You run right behind Yeboah. And if you're not doing that, then you should throw to Yeboah. It should be a Yeboah-oriented offense. That's what these coaches don't understand. They don't get it. They need some schooling. And another handoff. That doesn't go anywhere. That doesn't go anywhere. Tesla is still in there. Zylstra. No Yeboah. Jared Goff running around on the sideline. Keep that man in bubble wrap. Yeah, that's probably the most important player on that team for sure because they got no backup whatsoever. Oh, that's a false start. See? Take Yeboah out, bad things happen. They're going to learn. They're going to learn their lesson. They're going to learn their lesson one way or another. One way or another, they'll learn. They'll learn. May take them a while, but they'll learn. Yeah, they'll learn. One way or another, they will learn. Now, if you ask me to name any player on the Chargers right now on the defense, I could not help you out. And they're going with another run play. This is exciting football. Johnny Moe with an exciting game plan. But then again, his quarterback is Allen Kyle. Allen Kyle. Who knows? What do you expect him to do? It's 3rd and 11. Money down. Well, maybe they could get a field goal. That'd be nice. And really should be 17-0. Dicker doinked one. It was a Dicker doink. Yeah. Nope. Bad quarterbacking. Let's get a field goal, shall we? We got to practice our field goals. How about getting some points on the board against these bums? Threw it behind him and short of the sticks. No bueno, Mr. Allen. Oh, they're going for it on 4th and 3. All right. Yeah, they always go for it. I wonder if Aaron Glenn is going to be as aggressive as MCDC on 4th down. MCDC is one of the most aggressive in the league, if not the most, in terms of going for it on 4th. Kyle Allen can't find anybody on 4th down. No surprise. Now trying to run for it and may have gotten it. If you looked at that closely, he might not have gotten it, actually. But I don't know how close they're going to look at it. He kind of went out. The ball, remember, the ball's in his left hand now. When we see this replay here, ball's going to be in the left hand. And it, well, maybe he did. I don't know. Look closer from the other angle. But again, fourth down, and again, the quarterback couldn't find anybody. That's don't boy no. Those are the money downs. Those are the money downs. Now he's under center, so they gave him the first down, no problem. So then he hands it off and gets about 2 yards to the left. So the fourth down, but if you think about it, going for it on fourth down again pays off for MCDC. So I wonder how aggressive Aaron Glenn's going to be on fourth down, especially because we have Justin Fields, and if it's 4th and 3, I mean RPOs work great for 3 or 4 yards for sure. If that's all you need, RPOs are great for that. If you have Justin Fields, that type of guy. So we might see a lot of go for it on fourth down, this year. Yeah, see how that works. uh, Hopefully, we don't have to go through a 3-13 season under AG like MCDC did before we start to improve. But then again, they had the quarterback in place, and we're still trying to find ours. That was one of the greatest trades in NFL history, by the way, the Matthew Stafford trade, and it was great for both teams. Stafford and the Rams won a Super Bowl, and the Lions got their quarterback and all those draft picks, and they built up the team, and bada bing, bada boom. Now, Lions haven't gone to the Super Bowl yet, but I think if you ask Lions fans, they're pretty happy about where the team's at relative to where they had been for so long. 4th and 1, going for it again. He does not like field goals. Kyle Allen throws it out toward the flat, and he gets it. So there's a nice little play. Smart got it out, just needed a yard anyway, so threw a 2-yarder, and that's how you do it. That's a nice little play right there. Kyle with a nice completion, a little ball tap. Two guys almost batted it down. Guy almost dropped it. This Lovett guy does not seem to have the greatest hands. And this ball was moving around. He barely caught that. But he caught it, so it still counts. It still counts. Now they're lining up in a condensed formation with a fullback, handed to the running back, and he is not able to get anywhere. In fact, loses a yard. Nice tackle by number 50, Murphy, whoever that may be. Mr. Murphy, good job, Murph. Murph, the non-Smurf. Caleb Murphy, whoever that is. 8 career games played. Okay, now they're handing off again, and he finds a hole, and there's a touchdown. So the running back, Reynolds, runs it in for a touchdown, number 13, and now we got a 14-7 ball game. It's a 14-7 ball game if the extra point is made by the kicker. We got a ball game now. And once again, you put Yeboah on the field and you run the ball, of course you're going to score a touchdown. That's what Yeboah is all about. He's all about touchdowns, either catching them, blocking for him. Heck, if you gave him the ball, he'd probably run it in there. Yeah. You put Yeboah on the field and good things happen. That's just the way it is in life. Yeah. One of these days, these coaches are going to appreciate it. One of these days. Yeah. That's just the way it is. One of these days, it's going to happen. But let's check out the news cycle here and see if there's anything going on in the niffle. Doesn't think so. The NFL's electronic measuring system for measuring first downs goes into regular season use this year, introducing new. Well, they're showing a clip of what just happened with that thing. Well, they're saying that they used it, but nobody has really any commentary about whether the virtual system uh, performed as expected or people didn't like it. From what I saw, they went into some sort of cartoon thing, and that's not gonna fly with fans. I don't think in the regular season where you just cut away to some cartoon representation of what's going on. That's not gonna work. How do we know you're not doing some monkey business? Huh? How about that? How about that? No other news. Brian Cos. Well, if Brian Cos really said that, then Brian Cos is a moron, which we all know he is. But let's see. Brian Costello. Nick, well, he's not saying it on his X account, so I can't verify that. Let me know where he said it, JoJo. He's not on his X account. Now, as we all know, Brian Costello is a flat moron, so I wouldn't take anything he says seriously. Anyway, I mean, he's just a straight, like, he's basically retarded. So, no need to pay attention to him. But it's not on his X account. And as I've said in multiple videos, Fields is having the same exact kind of camp as people like Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, uh, much better than Caleb Williams. So the things that he's doing are basically what all the quarterbacks do when they're in camp. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' first pass at camp threw a pick six. So this is what happens. So if Costello is really saying that, JoJo, he's just really trying to get clicks because there's nothing else to talk about. And that would be, you know, that would be something that would get Jet fans talking and clicking. But like I said, he's basically a retard. All right, so now we got, is Trey Lance still out there? Yeah, Lance still out there for the Chargers. Hands the ball off. They're showing Antonio Gates playing basketball. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm sure he was a great basketball player. All right, Lance now in the shotgun. Well, and he brings a man in motion left to right. Hands the ball off to the running back. A couple of moves, still on his feet, and he's going to get a first down. And now they're interviewing Mr. Antonio Gates, one of the great tight ends of all time. Lance now in the shotgun, looks left, looks over the middle, dumps it off to the running back. A modest gain of 4.5 yards or so. Oh, let me put this back over here. Trey Lance now under center in a condensed formation with one man out wide. Hands it off, about a 2 yard gain. So it'll be third down and about 3.5, 4 yards to go. So third and medium. We'll see if they uh, test out old Mr. Lance on third down, the money down, or if they do a running play. Now, they are going to pass it to Lance looking right, and he almost throws a pick. So Lance is not looking good, actually. He had a couple of moments there, but if you notice on the money downs, not getting it done. Now there was a flag on this play. I think it might be offensive pass interference. I don't know because I can't hear, and they're interviewing Antonio Gates. Oh, they're calling on the defense. Well, so Lance got bailed out there. Regardless of this, illegal use of hands, but it was still a bad pass, regardless, because it was off target. So Lance gets bailed out there. Can we show a replay of the football, please? They're showing Antonio Gates having trouble with his equipment, microphone, whatever that is. Why are you not showing a replay of what happened on the field? They think we're here for like these interviews. No one cares about the interviews. Well, anyway, so now it's first down. Lance back to pass on first down, makes a nice strike to looks like the fullback or tight end. That was a nice pass right there. That was a good one. That was a good one. So Lance now first and 10, about the 20-yard line, as a running play up the middle, and 3 or 4 yards for the running back. Miller Hines, whoever that is. Not familiar with his game. And now we're going to get down to the 2-minute warning. But Harbaugh having a good time talking to Lance on the sidelines. I do think there is something to the way Harbaugh is with these players. I mean, you got to say Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in the league, right? Is there any doubt about that? These Harbaughs, they know how to coach. You got your Jim Harbaugh, you got your John Harbaugh, you got your Jack Harbaugh, their father. They know how to coach. They know how to coach it up. Something about these Harbaughs, it's in the bloodline. I wonder if they probably have sons who are coaches somewhere, right? The both of them. I'm sure they have probably coaches in college or something. There's going to be more Harbaughs to deal with in the future. Yeah. Yeah, so I do think that Jim Harbaugh is really good for Trey Lance. Regardless of how he turns out, if he's going to have a shot at all at being an NFL quarterback, being with Jim Harbaugh is a good place to be. And if he leaves after this year, Zach Wilson should sign to go over there, get his career resurrected. You know, the quarterback whisperer. What an asset that is to be, too. I mean, can you imagine? Your head coach can fix any quarterback, at least get him up to be a backup status. You know, I mean, what an asset that is. Kevin O'Connell can do it. Harbaugh can do it. It's quite an asset. Quite an asset. Because it's kind of the most important position. Well, after offensive line, I would say. Because you got to have an offensive line, otherwise the quarterback doesn't have time to do anything. And we're going over the Hall of Fame career of Jared Allen, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Lance now in the shotgun, 2nd down and 6 from the 15-yard line, the plus 15. Lance looks to his left, goes to his left with a little touch pass, too far, no good, out of bounds. Incompleto. That was to Trey Harris. That's their young wide receiver that they took. Oh, another interview. Good grief. Good grief with these interviews. Let's go to Melissa Starks on the sideline. Oh, no. Can we just focus on football? Trey Harris is in there. He's a rookie wide receiver. Want to find out about him. We want to find out about Trey Lance. We don't want to hear the thoughts of Jared Allen. Who cares? All right, he's going into the Hall of Fame. All right, here's another play. And there's another nice pass by Trey Lance. So Lance, although a little uneven, has been playing overall pretty well today, I would say. Looking competent. Let's put it that way. This was just a nice little slant, but make the easy stuff look easy. And that's, half the battle. Jeremy's here. Karate, chop, chop, chop. That's from the Flintstones. I don't know. We got High Karate in here. We got Jets Chaos in here. We got a bunch of people in here. And the Chargers are now up 21-7. Trey Lance is looking like a competent NFL quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. And what does that say about Jim Harbaugh? Boy, oh boy, what an asset to have on your team, a guy who can be a quarterback whisperer. I mean, this is just a slant, but, he recognized the coverage. He recognized where he had an open guy, hit him right in stride. Make the easy stuff look easy. A lot of people can't even do that. So you got to give it to Trey Lance. He's looking pretty good right now. And maybe Jim Harbaugh's turning him around. Maybe. Good old Jimmy Harbaugh. Knows what he's doing with the QBs. Well, and that's important. You got to have your backups be ready to go. I don't necessarily, if I were the Detroit Lions, I'm not feeling good about my quarterback backups. No way. Jared Goff better stay healthy. Very important these days to have a competent backup, especially with all the concussion protocol and all of that. A quarterback could go out for a few games at any moment with these concussion protocols. So let's see if there's any news going on right now. Grant Cohn is talking about. Now, Grant Cohn, of course, is going to take his shots on Kyle Shanahan. So it's kind of fun to watch Grant Cohn basically gloating that, Trey Lance is doing really well and Kyle Shanahan is not the one who brought this out of him. Kyle Shanahan couldn't coach him, but now Jim Harbaugh can. So Cohn is sticking it to Shanahan. He doesn't really love Shanahan that much, to be honest with you. But nobody else is really talking about anything. It's almost like these beat reporters aren't really football junkies like us. Right, Chaos? It's almost like the beat reporters are not football junkies like we are. Let's hope our rookie coaches are known as, well, let's hope so. I mean, think about it, Chaos. If Aaron Glenn can work his magic, on quarterbacks and also be a great defensive mind, boy, then we really got something. Uh, but you would think that's probably not going to be the case, but maybe Charles Harris or, whatever. But if you think about Harbaugh and probably Kevin O'Connell are two of the ones who are, considered the QB gurus who can kind of fix anybody, so to speak. I mean, this was just good pre-snap recognition by the quarterback there. He knew what he had and he just threw it, he put it on him. So that's just good pre-snap recognition by Lance, which is a big thing actually. Looks easy, is not. I mean, just look at Kyle Allen, for example. Allen Kyle, whatever his name is. Look at this bozo. But yeah, if you could have that on your staff of somebody, maybe it's Charles Harris, maybe it's Aaron Glenn, maybe it's I don't know who's our quarterback coach. Oh, Charles Harris. Maybe it's Tanner Engstrand, right? Maybe Engstrand can do it. But whatever it is, if it's not the head coach, that like if Tanner Engstrand turns out to be that guy, then he's going to leave and be a head coach somewhere because that'll get recognized. So if it's Engstrand, that'd be nice for a few seasons, but eventually, then people are going to say, "Oh my God, he's the new, he's the new Ben Johnson, he's the new Liam Cohen, he's the new, and then he'll leave." So that's why it's nice for him to be the head coach, the way Harbaugh and O'Connell are. But we'll see. It's either that or you just find your guy, Like Andy Reid. Is Andy Reid a quarterback whisperer? Probably not, right? I mean, I don't think Andy Reid would be put in the same category as like a Harbaugh O'Connell in that regard. But you put him with a good quarterback and, you got a shot. So either you got to be a whisperer or you just find your guy. So hopefully it'll be Justin, but we'll find out this year. Aunt Jets is here. What's up, Aunt Jets? Been a while. Been a while. Been a while, Aunt Jets. Where you been? What have you been doing? What have you been up to? What's going on? Why haven't you been here? I've been here. I've been doing live streams all this time. And I say, where's Aunt Jets? And nobody knows. They all say, we don't know. What are you asking us for, Frankie? We don't know where Aunt Jet is. What are we supposed to know? We're supposed to keep tabs on the guy? What do you want us to do? Put a GPS on his car? What is going on? We don't know where he is. Nobody knows. It's hard to keep track of people these days. They disappear, they come back. I mean, look at Jeremy. Sometimes he's in the chat, most of the time not. I'm actually surprised any content creator is in the chat of any other content creator because and shows up in the chat because it's hard to keep up with other people. I mean, I catch Green Bean every now and then, but it's kind of hard. I saw Green Bean doing a rant the other day about drafting kickers. I was like, man, oh man. So Jeremy says, maybe our new OC. Yeah. Well, but also Goff was good. Wasn't as good, but he did go to the Super Bowl with McVay. McVay probably another one of these QB whispers, but I guess we don't really know about McVay because he had Goff, and you could say, well, that's kind of whispery. But then he got Stafford, so. Aunt Jet with the super chat. Well, thank you for that, Aunt Jet. Certainly is appreciated. And you will notice there is some sort of new YouTube ranking system for the chat. So by giving a super chat like this, you probably have skyrocketed right to the top. Right to the dang top of those rankings. I don't know. Phil Adams is probably on there. Maybe Harlan Abraham, perhaps. But they don't give super chats, Aunt Jets. So you want to cut the line. You give a super chat like Aunt Jets did right here, 9.99. That's a biggie for me. Anyway, uh, so I appreciate it, Aunt Jets. You're now probably the number one chatter, even though you haven't been here in a while. You go to the top when you give us some money. They reward you. And Chaos says he only checks me out. Well, you're not the only one who said I'm like a drug, Jeremy. Just ask my ex-girlfriends. Well, they did quit me eventually, but they had to go to rehab. Frankie rehab. Frankie rehab is a hard protocol, let me tell you. Jojo says there's so many Jet content creators now. Yeah, it- they call that a crowded marketplace, Jojo, otherwise known as a red ocean. It's a very crowded marketplace, but most of the people I see who start new ones, they're just the same as everybody. There's nothing different about them. It's like, oh, okay, another person who's going to repeat the things they heard that they heard Connor Hughes say. You know, there's nothing different about them. How many people are going to do playbooks and data analytics like me? Oh man, I got a good. Wait till you guys see the next playbook one I do. This is going to be good. Well, I'm going to like it. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else is going to watch it, but I got a good idea, I think. But at least I go into playbooks and data analytics and different things. I try to come up with different ideas instead of the same old, same old. You know, Trey Lance back on the field now, 21-7. The Lions really did not. This Kyle Allen and Allen Kyle guy is no bueno. Why do they even have him on their team? They're in trouble with their backup quarterbacks, and their number two is Hendon Hooker, who has not played well even in the preseason games he's played, and doesn't have very much like regular season game experience at all. Man, the Lions are really thin at backup quarterback. Maybe we could trade him Brady Cook for a 6th-round pick. Would you like? Can I interest you in an Adrian Martinez, perhaps? Yeah, maybe we could get a little draft capital. Maybe we could get a little draft capital. So I'll have to see. But yeah, there seems to be a new Jet content creator created every 5 of them a day. It seems like. I don't know what these people why they don't have jobs, but Jeremy says the race to give news on YouTube is hysterical. We all see it way before they can get a video out. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Probably the one who does that the best is Jet Central. It's like, how does he get the video up so quickly? But that's his whole thing, right? Like Jet Central, the value he has, like whatever, if there's any kind of news, somebody says anything about the Jets anywhere or any kind of transaction, he's got a video coming out in 5 minutes, right? So that in itself is a value of some kind because every single transaction, everything that happens, Jet Central's covering it. If he's in the car, if he's in if he's taking a crap, he's shooting a video. But but the videos are just I mean, how much can you put into it if you're just trying to get it out super fast and saying, "Oh my God, the Jets signed some guy from the UFL, and here's what he did in college, and this would be this is a great depth move." What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the comments down below. End of video. Like, how much value does the video have? I don't know, but the value of the channel is anytime there's Jets news, boom, there's a video on it, right? Any kind of news, like the smallest detail, the smallest, tiniest thing, Jet Central has a video on it. So I think that's his whole brand. I think. I mean, I don't know. And he has a lot of subscribers. So the best I can figure is there's a lot of people who want to be subscribed to his channel so that they do not miss a video about, even if it's a shallow video, about whatever it is that's going on with the Jets. Any small, tiny, little, tiny piece of news, I guess. He's always working out, sweating. Who? Ian? Yeah, that's the thing is like you can't win a race with Jet Central. I thought about that for a while. Like when I first started, I thought, oh, maybe this is the way to get a lot of subscribers. And then I tried to do it, and I was like, this is impossible. How do you, you can't you can't even compete with that guy? I guess he films him on his phone or something. I don't know. Maybe he has a whole team that works on. I don't know. But I mean, um, yeah, there's no point. There kind of is no point. It's like he has that market cornered already, right? Like the super fast, every single tiny little thing that comes out about the Jets, making a video about it. Jet Central has that market covered, and he's going to do it faster than you. So there's no point in just being another Jet Central. So to me, I try to bring different kinds of value, but the problem is of course, like if I just did a data analytics video and it was a simple data analytics video, and it got like 200 views. People don't want it. But then sometimes I do a film study or a playbook video and it'll get a few thousand views, which is good for me because I only have 700 or something subscribers. But then you try to replicate that and then you do it the next time and it doesn't do as good. And you're like, why didn't that why didn't that go? So then you kind of just realize like you have to do whatever videos you want to do and just hope they do well. Do because you can't, there's no way to game the system as far as I can see. There really isn't. Like, do more videos, do less videos, do longer videos, do shorter videos, make a shorts, YouTube shorts, make a, there's nothing, put an intro in, put an outro in, leave it out. It doesn't, there's no rhyme or reason to anything. It seems like with it. It's so I just make videos that I want to make. If whatever I find interesting and whatever I'm learning about, I tell you guys about and I show you what I'm learning and hopefully you enjoy it. And if you don't, I don't get offended. I don't try to let it affect me. Like if the video doesn't do well, I'm just like, all right, well, I guess whatever. Jojo says most of them have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah, well, most people they just start a channel and they think, well, this will be an extra income. This will be some side income. I like talking about the Jets, so therefore, why don't I just get paid for it? But most of them don't have any background in any kind of interesting thing. I mean, at least I've been to scout school. Me and Dom C went to scout school at least. They don't have any background in anything. And I'm trying to learn more about data analytics and, you know, but I don't know, if you don't ever learn anything new, how are you going to present yourself as different? But then again, that's my philosophy, but I have 700 subscribers. I'm trying to be different, but is it working? Not really. Not really. Jeremy says nobody has the dynamic we have doing game watch reactions. Bean is the entertainment. Frankie brings the chaos, brings the cheeseburger. I like to think so. I like to think so. I think we have a good rapport. That's probably one of those. That's probably one of those things where people who like those watch-alongs really like them. If you like the dynamic between the three people, then you'll stick around. Yeah, this is the other thing. Hi karate is if you're never critical, how much value is it? Everything the Jets do? It's like, I hope it works out. Oh, this is awesome. This is going to be good. He'll flavor it a little bit, like this might not work out, but I mean, to me, that just isn't. I mean, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, and it works for him. It's hard for me to criticize. I have 700 freaking subs, and he has whatever he has. So how can I criticize him? And I watch his videos. Don't get me wrong; they pop up. YouTube pops them up on me. Yeah, they pop up. But it's always a positive, and which is good. But sometimes things are bad. Sometimes the Jets do bad things. So, you should say that. I think. Well, I think, but that's me. I don't know. It works for him. Harlan Abraham is here. How do you like the game? Well, Trey Lance is looking like a competent NFL quarterback, Harlan. So, excuse me. I would say it's looking like Jim Harbaugh is the quarterback whisperer here. Think about Jim Harbaugh, Andrew Luck, Colin Kaepernick, um, Alex Smith turned Alex Smith's career around. Alex Smith was a total bust before Harbaugh got a hold of him for years and years. Bust, number one pick. Remember, Alex Smith was the same draft as Aaron Rodgers. Alex Smith was a complete and total bust, and Aaron Rodgers is going to Canton, the Hall of Fame, as we all know. And Smith stunk. He was terrible until Harbaugh got a hold of him. And then Harbaugh got a hold of J.J. McCarthy, and he did that. And then Harbaugh now he's getting his hands on Trey Lance. I mean, how many quarterbacks he got to turn around before we say this guy's amazing at this? So it's kind of interesting, isn't it? I mean, if you ask Alec, and if you have heard interviews with Alex Smith, he will say, yes, it was Jim Harbaugh who completely turned me around. I was down and out, going to be out of the league, number one. And remember, he was number one overall pick. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers, think about it. They could have chosen Aaron Rodgers, not only Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers, who is from the Northern California area, grew up a 49er fan, and they went, and they went with Alex Smith, and he was going to be a total bust until Harbaugh came along. So, very interesting about this Harbaugh fella. It's hard to say, whether it's Jim or John that these Harbaughs can't coach. Tell you that much. Yeah, but JoJo, we were not in the market at that point in time. I mean, and who knows if he would have wanted to come here. First of all, we'd have to have had fired Saleh, right? What was that, year 2 of Saleh? We weren't going to do that. But even if we did, no guarantee Harbaugh would have come here. He has no connections to to New Jersey or Woody or anything else, right? He has connection to California. He coached at Stanford, right? So, yeah, I mean, if we had fired our coach and he was available, it's one thing to go all in, but these coaches like that, remember, there's usually 7 to 10 openings every single year in the NFL. So what, similar to Vrabel, we gave Vrabel whatever he wanted, and he was like, well, I would take that, but I, the Patriots are going to give me the same, and I'm a Patriot, so. And so Harbaugh probably would have looked around and said, well, is this the best situation for me? And the answer probably would have been no. But yeah, if we could have got him, it would have been great. But let's just hope Aaron Glenn works out. He wants to be here. At least Aaron Glenn wants to be here. I'll tell you that much. It's kind of like Sauce and Garrett. If somebody wants to say we overpaid for them, okay, but at least they want to be here. They're good players who want to be here. And there's something to be said for that. You know what I mean? Brady and Rogers, both from Bay Area. Well, California produces lots of great athletes, usually in Southern California. But yeah, kind of interesting that both Brady and Rogers, 49er fans, similar era. But lots of players come out of Texas, lots of players come out of Florida, you know, usually Southern California. It's interesting. What are the All right, chat. Trivia time, chat. All right, chat. Listen up. What are generally considered to be the three best high school football teams in America? Year over year, every year. The big ones. The top three you would say high school programs in football for high school level? Put it to the chat. See how much you know about high school football. Testing the knowledge of the old chat. Let's see who knows about some high school football. Dun, 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 dun. No answers in the chat. You guys are slow on the trigger. Moeller High School. Nope, Harlan, incorrect. Sunday Night Football. They're bringing back what's her name to sing the song? IMG, or is that basketball? No, Aunt Jets got it right. So IMG Academy. Aunt Jets has one of the three right there. It's IMG Academy, and they're probably for basketball too, but they're more known for football. So IMG Academy, and where is IMG Academy located, Aunt Jets? But that's one out of the three. That's one out of the three. Now, the second half is starting off with these Lions and Chargers. I guess Kyle Allen or Allen Kyle is going to have to start the second half for the Lions because they don't have any other quarterbacks. St. Thomas in Miami, no, sir. Although that may be a good one. Not annually thought of as sort of like the big powerhouse. Although I guess some people could argue with me. I would have to give you some sort of standard. So Aunt Jet says Texas is wrong, incorrect. IMG Academy is right here in Florida, Aunt Jets. Right here in Florida. Nobody has any other guesses? Well, the other two big ones that are annually thought to be the powerhouse schools, one is called Mater Dei in California, and that's located in California. IMG Academy is located here in Florida, but there's not one of the big ones located in Texas, which is really strange. The third one is called St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, Maryland, of all places, and that's the odd one. Here's a running play off the left side that's going to be a big gainer unless they call it back with a penalty flag. Um, well, based on the reports, Jamin Davis is not making plays. The guy who's making plays the most, according to the beat reporters, is Marcelino McCrary Ball. So if I mean we don't know. All we have is the beat reporters reports, which I read every day. Every day there's a practice, and nobody has said anything about Jamin Davis. So that just means he's not making plays. The guy they're saying out of those, other than our top two, and by the way, we should re-sign Quincy Williams immediately. Other than Quincy and obviously Jamian, the guy they're saying is making the most plays is Marcelino McCrary Ball. So, but whether the coaches think the same as the beat reporters is another matter altogether. I don't know. But nobody has said anything about Jamin Davis. I looked at the roster and said, well, it looks like to me Jamin Davis has the best chance. But then the practices have started and nobody said anything about Jamin Davis. So, but that's the beat reporters. Again, I don't, all we have is their reports. And they're saying Marcelino McCrary Ball's the one who's making the most plays out of that group. So it's that job is wide open. I thought Jamin Davis had the inside track based on the roster and based on his draft pedigree and all. But the practices have now started, and somebody's going to win the job, and it'll either be Jamin, it'll be Marcelino. It probably won't be Kiko. So yeah. Dom C really likes Jackson Sermon, by the way, but nobody has mentioned Jackson Sermon either. But Dom C said he likes him. And Fields now back to pass, 3rd and 17, just a little drop-off pass. Plays it safe with a 14-point lead, probably a good idea. I think that is Jared Patterson, formerly of the Commandos. So Lance has to come off the field, not converting on that drive. And you notice Harbaugh coaching him up right away as soon as he comes off. So yeah, Ant Jets was the only one to get any of them. So good job, Ant Jets. You win the prize of hearing this bell being rung. Oh, that was terrible. Boy, the Lions have looked terrible in this game in terms of fundamentals and discipline and accountability and all that. They have looked like a bunch of bums. MCDC's going to go apeshit on these guys. Look at this. This is horrible. What are you doing? That guy's cut immediately. He's gone tomorrow. See you later, 80. You look like a bum out there. What are you doing? You look like you're scared to catch it. Catch a damn ball. Step up and catch it like a man. 80. Dum. Who is that, anyways? They're trying to buck him up, but and now Lance gets another easy field. Lance is going to look a lot better than Lance is going to seem a lot better than he played. When people see these stats, he's been given a field position inside the 10 like 3 times. But yeah, Ant Jets got 1 out of the 3. Basically, the big schools are IMG, Mater Dei. Now, Mater Dei, like Mother of God, is in California, and that's where Bryce Young comes out of. And that's where Tet McMillan comes out of as well. And they're together now in Carolina. They're going to be best friends. Best friends. Just like Will McDonald and Armand Membu watching tape together. Best friends. Best friends. Isn't that nice? Will McDonald watches tape with Armand Membu and Olu Fashanu. And by the way, the reports now today coming out of reputable people, like, for example, Will Parkinson is now part of the beat, Will Parkinson is now part of the beat, from Badlands. Now, I don't like Will Parkinson, okay? He went to SUNY Cortland, and I say fuck SUNY Cortland forever because I'm SUNY New Paltz, okay? So there's that. But, that being said, Will Parkinson, compared to the rest of the beat writers, you guys ever hear the phrase, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king? Okay? You ever hear that phrase? Will Parkinson with the beat writers is like the one-eyed man in the land of the blind. He's king. So he's actually, sure, he went to SUNY Cortland, fuck them. They're a bunch of bums. But nonetheless, so he's there now, and he was saying, and so I trust his opinion. He knows football better than those other guys, what I'm saying. Despite his SUNY Cortland background, he somehow figured out something about football at least. And he is saying, no, fuck Stony Brook. Fuck Stony Brook too. I went and pitched against those bums also. Struck them out. Get out of here with my curveball and my 87-mile-an-hour fastball. Get Stony Brook out of here. You guys don't know that I was the staff ace for SUNY New Paltz. When we didn't have a very good team, they were happy I showed up. They were like, where does this guy come from? But anyway, what was I saying? So anyway, so Will Parkinson said the man who stood out the most on offense was Olu Fashanu. Olu! He looks like a wall in pass protection, and he now has the power and the technique for run blocking, which is what he was weak on, if you guys remember. He looks like he's stronger, Will said, and I trust Will. Now, the other thing about Will Parkinson, you guys may not know, and this is a plus for him, even though he's a Cortland guy, and fuck them forever. even despite that. Now, his brother, Charlie, is a part of the front office of Oklahoma Sooner football. So these big programs now are getting front offices. And I'm going to go and talk to, in the coming weeks and months, I'm going to talk to UCF about this because I'm doing my work here. And I'm going to be talking to the athletics people here soon. But anyway, a lot of these big programs, they're getting front offices similar to the NFL type of situation because of how, college football has been changing and all this, the portal and all this, NIL, et cetera. And his brother works in their front, quote unquote, front office. So he has connections. That's the other thing about Parkinson, right? So those are pluses in his on his behalf. And I would rather him ask, questions. If you noticed Coach Wilkes's press conference today, Parkinson asked a couple of the questions. And that's good. And you have to ask yourself, what is a guy like Andy Vasquez? When does he ask a question? Why does Andy Vasquez have a job? He never breaks a story. Why is he a journalist? He never breaks a story. He never asks any questions in the press conferences. He just sits there and writes down the notes of what somebody said, which we could all go to YouTube and watch. What is this? So I think it's a good thing at least that Will Parkinson now is on the beat. Badlands and Jets X Factor are getting people, in the room. That's good. I think, more of the alternative media getting in the room. I think that's a good thing. Doesn't mean they're always right. Doesn't mean they're better necessarily. Sometimes they write as much clickbait as anybody else. So got to watch it. But nonetheless, I do think the two questions he asked were very good, today to Wilkes. And I'd rather have a guy like that asking questions rather than Connor Hughes with his trap questions and all of his bullshit that he does. So giving him props, even though he's from SUNY Cortland and fuck those guys. You know how many fights I got into with SUNY Cortland? Holy smokes, man. So many. Oh, Hooker's now playing. Oh, okay. This is somewhat interesting. So what the hell? So Hooker comes in. This is Hendon Hooker, right? So Hendon Hooker's coming in after Kyle Allen. Why? Why is this happening, Chaos? Hendon Hooker's supposed to be their number 2 quarterback. Is he the number 3 quarterback? ESPN has him as number 2. So this is really interesting. So Kyle Allen's the backup, and then Hooker's number 3. This is not good for Detroit. That means Hooker is even worse than we thought. Hands the ball off for a couple yards. But Stony Brook was not in my division. So in the SUNYAC, the SUNY Athletic Conference, it's a powerhouse conference, Stony Brook's not in that for some reason, or at least they weren't in our division or whatever. The teams that we played were SUNY Cortland, SUNY Oneonta, SUNY Binghamton, Cortland, Oneonta, and us. And those were the teams we played. Maybe they weren't in our division or something like that. I don't know. Not all the SUNY schools are in the SUNYAC, and they're probably not all in the SUNYAC for all the sports. All the sports. They're in for some and not others, etc. But I do remember playing them once or twice. But Cortland and Oneonta and Binghamton, we played all the time. Yeah, right. Yeah, this is correct. Jeremy's got it. This is what I'm saying. Like Hendon Hooker, I guess he just never didn't work out. There's a lot of promise for him coming out of Tennessee, and he just isn't successful. I mean, if you're behind Kyle Allen, what the hell? Kyle Allen's beating you out. Hooker back to pass. Oh boy. And that's why, I guess. There was the money down. As we keep saying, the money down is 3rd and long. You watch these quarterbacks very closely on 3rd and long. And if they consistently convert first downs, okay, you got something. And if they can't, then they're just like, then they're a bum, just like, 3rd stringers usually are bums. But there we go. It's 3rd and long, and he threw it to nobody. He airmailed it and almost got picked off. That's bad. And Hooker's been in the league now a few years, and he's not apparently going anywhere. So I don't know. Maybe we can make a trade with Detroit. Maybe they would like an Adrian Martinez, perhaps. Perhaps they'd be interested in a Brady Cook. You know, Eh, maybe, maybe they need a third quarterback and they like Adrian Martinez. Yeah, we'll take a 6 round pick off your hands, Detroit. We're gonna need to stockpile draft picks one way or another, one reason or another. Boy, oh boy. So ESPN is wrong actually. So the second string quarterback is Kyle Allen. That is really bad for Detroit. You look at their depth, it's not great. They have a really good starting team, of course, and they have some decent backups. They got some good running back backups. But boy, oh boy, they got a lot of injuries, especially on defense still. Rodriguez injured, Pascal injured, Aleem McNeil injured. These are big injuries. Of course, my guy on Wuzurike injured. Um, excuse me. So this will be very interesting year for Detroit. I think we're going to watch them very closely. I mean, they have a window, but they got a lot of injuries. They don't have a ton of depth. If anything happens to Goff, they're totally screwed. They um, have new coordinators, and they do play on turf, so that increases your chance of injuries. Even though the Fords probably have more money than just about anybody, but they play in the dome, so they play in a dome, so they get the benefit of no weather games, but they also have to play on AstroTurf, so that's no good. Yeah, so Nick Faria, not one of the better beat reporters that we have, now working for Jets X Factor after getting fired at multiple other places, has just filed a report about the training camp, a report from today's practice, basically saying it was an up and down day from the offense and for Fields. I wouldn't say Fields is struggling, just because I have been watching the other training camp reports for the other teams, and he seems to be, I would say it's up and down, but I would also say that's how it seems to be for most of the other teams' quarterbacks as well. So I do think that our beat reporters, a lot of them are going to make more of Fields' incompletions and things like that than should be made, but that's just what they do. We should be used to that by now, I would say. So Trey Lance is still in there. It's the third quarter, so they haven't pulled Lance. And I think this is good in terms of a plan because Lance needs playing time. That's one thing he didn't play a lot in college, and then he got hurt in the pros and never got really a chance with the 49ers. So this is a man who needs playing time, so the preseason's perfect for him, I would say. And Harbaugh seems to agree. Got a tight formation here with a fullback, man in motion, one wide receiver out wide, short yardage situation. Looks like they converted. Yeah, that's what I mean. This is why it's weird, is because like Brock Purdy has up and down days, and he's been in the same system with the same coach and the same everything for years. Same thing with Tua. They all have up and down days, and Fields is the one learning a new system with a new team, a new coach, and everything else. It's crazy. Plus, we already know what Fields does. He's Most of these plays probably that aren't working in practice, they're not going to be in the playbook. They're just going to throw them out. They're going to be like, "Oh yeah, that didn't work. Let's throw that out of here." But practice is where you try and see what you got, see if it will work, and if it doesn't, you just throw it out of the playbook. So they're judging him on plays that he's not going to be running in the regular season. But it's also possible that Justin Fields just isn't good enough. It is also possible. I'm going to remain positive until the regular season starts for sure. But it is also possible that Fields is just a forever backup who is going to be very limited and can only do certain things. It's possible. But that's a nice pass by Lance. So Lance, I would say, is showing some progress here, and for a Charger fan or for a Trey Lance fan, you got to be pretty happy with how he's looked here in the preseason. Not that it means much, but better to look good than bad for sure. But with Fields, yeah, I'm not gonna worry at all, despite these reports and despite the beat reporters trying to make us worry, worry, worry. Especially Nick Faria. I mean, how many times does Nick Faria have to get fired before people realize this guy's not worth employing? I mean, what was he doing at his other jobs where he got fired for? Nobody asked these questions, I guess. But I'll ask them. Why couldn't you keep your job at Athlon Sports, which desperately needs reporters? I don't know. Maybe there's a story there. Nobody asked these questions except Frankie. I mean, now he's writing for Jet's X Factor. And Jet says he needs to make good decisions and deliver the ball on time. But protecting the ball is job one, yeah. Meaning don't throw picks. But he never really got a chance. That's something you could really say for Trey Lance. I mean, he didn't play a lot in college, which maybe you shouldn't have drafted him that high then, but then you did, and then he got injured and he could never get back on the field. And then they had Purdy, so they just said, okay, we're going to stick with Purdy. So he never really got a chance to play, and you have to get reps at some point. So here, preseason, this is a good plan, I think, by Harbaugh. Here's a way to get him. He's not going to get any reps with Herbo, but on the team, but preseason, yeah, let him ride. You know, he's got to get reps at some point in time. He's not going to get many practice reps being the backup here, but preseason that's a perfect spot for Trey Lance. Yeah, so I think this is a good spot for him, and he's acquitted himself pretty well today. Not perfect, of course, but looked pretty good, pretty competent. And again, this is against Detroit's third, fourth stringers, so grain of salt is necessary, but still pretty good for Lance. I mean, he should be dominating against these guys now. It's the third quarter with 4 minutes left. These guys that are in now for Detroit are not going to be on anybody's team, this year. So of course he should he's a first round pick, third overall. He should dominate these dudes right now. So wouldn't get too excited, but at the same time, still you have to do it, right? You have to do it against whoever's out there and build up a little confidence, you know and then you just keep stepping it up in terms of competition level. So I would say definitely Trey Lance's career is definitely not dead yet. That's for sure. Whereas, if Justin Fields this year can't get it done as a starter, um, his career as a starter is probably over. Now he'll be a forever backup. He'll be a backup in this league till he's 35 years old, probably, because he can run, and then he'll be fine as a backup. But where's Scary Terry going? So the big news of the day: Terry McLaurin requesting a trade. He wants more money from the Washington Commandos. So my guess is that he's going to the Washington Commanders. They're going to sign him eventually. I don't think they're crazy enough to trade him. I think they'll just pony up the money and give him give him the dough. So that's what I think. But if he gets traded, I know the exact right team for him to go to. It's not the Jets. The number one team, the place he would go, and it's almost they would, make a great offer to get him if he was truly available, which I don't think he is, would be the New England Patriots. They got $60 million worth of cap space. They need wide receivers, and that'd be a good place for him to go. Wow, he was in bounds for that. There's no way he was in bounds. But then again, you always say that, and then you look at the replay, they get their feet down somehow. That's amazing. I thought he was definitely out. Let's see. No, he's out. What the hell are these refs doing? That's what I thought. He didn't have any feet in at all. His right heel was out, and then his left foot is out. Heel out, he's out, and then the left foot doesn't even come down. What is the ref even looking at? Is he blind? 49ers. 49ers could be a good shot, but they're weird about their receiver. They do need a receiver, though, because Ayuk is injured. Juwan Jennings is injured now. Ricky Pearsall's injured. So the 49ers could do it. 49ers could be. But I think the Patriots would make the best offer because I think Vrabel wants to get them up and going ASAP. They had tons of cap space to begin the offseason. They only spent about half of it. So they still have like 60 mil. So they have tons of cap room, and I think Vrabel would just offer them, a great deal because I think he would want them very badly. But I think Karate is correct. I think Washington will sign him. Washington cannot be that stupid to let him go. No way. Now, Washington's a very interesting team for us. Why? Why is Washington a very interesting team for the Jets to watch what they do? Why is it interesting? The Washington Commanders. Why are they of particular interest to the New York Jets? Why? I wonder. I wonder why. Why? Does the chat know? Why are the Washington Commanders of particular interest to the New York Jets in particular? I wonder. Why? Does anybody know? Does anybody care? Is there anybody out there? Nope. Well, this is true, but no. Even more important than the consultants. Frickin' consultants. Well, the principal owners of the Washington Commanders are who? Who are the principal owners of the Washington Commanders? Yeah, Jet 41 got it. So the principal owners of the Washington Commanders are named Josh Harris and David Blitzer. They own the Washington Commanders, the Philadelphia 76ers, the New Jersey Devils, they play hockey, and the Crystal Palace Football Club. That's in England. And who else is a partner in the Crystal Palace Football Club? Oh yeah, it's Woody Johnson. So we're hoping here at the FSPN, the Frankie Sports Programming Network, we here at FSPN are hoping that Woody Johnson can learn a thing or two from his business partners. Now, the other things that are interesting about the Commanders, they're also going through a stadium situation for the Commanders. They're dealing with the Crystal Palace situation with the stadium as well, but here in America for football, they're currently going through a situation with the RFK Stadium in Washington D.C. And so, what can Woody learn from them about that? how to deal with municipalities, how to deal with the city council, how to deal with the mayor, this one, that one, to get a new stadium. Because guess what? We need a new stadium. Now, I think all of the fans would agree that we do. And does Woody agree? That's really the question. Woody probably doesn't think we do, but I'm hoping he figures it out. All right, here's Hendon Hooker now, handing the ball off. But I mean, at some point, so how do the Commanders? How does that those people, Harris and Blitzer, and part of that group is also Magic Johnson, by the way. How do they handle um, this stadium situation? Also thrown into the mix, the president of this country said, "Hey, you should change your name back to the Washington Redskins, and if you don't, maybe I'll throw a monkey wrench or two into your new stadium deal." So they have to deal with that political situation now. And how do they deal with that? And that's all part of being an owner of these beloved sports franchises. And you're the owner. You are a steward of a beloved asset in a community. And so, how do you go about these sensitive issues when you have political people to deal with, municipalities, construction, um, all of these things, financing, and so forth and so on? So we here at FSPN are hoping to God that he will learn something, because Josh Harris and David Blitzer have a good track record, an excellent track record with all the teams they own, and the fans are pretty happy with the way they handle these teams. I think if you ask 76er fans and Devils fans and certainly Commanders fans about how they've been as owners, they would say A plus. Whereas with Woody Johnson, it's an F minus. So, how do we bridge that gap and how do we become a better owner now? Woody's done a lot of good things this offseason. Let's give him credit for the things he has done. And he has listened to the players. Seems like he has listened to people, certain things like the NFLPA report card, and he's made some improvements. And so that's a good thing. But let's hope he continues to improve and continues to not screw things up and not listen to Jaime El High all the time. Seems like Jaime El High is part of the problem. Sure, we make money, but I mean, we're a football team in New York. It's like selling drugs to drug addicts. It's not that hard. But like why from a business perspective did we not get insurance on Aaron Rodgers' contract, for example? Like why doesn't Woody Johnson ask Jaime El High, "Uh-oh, your bow is injured." Ah, looks like an ACL or something. God damn it, Kenny. But why didn't they get insurance on Aaron Rodgers' contract? You say, what the hell difference does that make? Well, if he suffered an injury like he did, and you have the insurance in the contract, you get cap space the next year. Did you know that? How many people in the chat knew that insurance in a player's contract could get you more cap space the next year? Let me know if you knew that in the chat. Who else beside Frankie is going to tell you that? Anybody else talking about contractual insurance on this out in these streets? Huh? Oh man. The information I give to you guys is like it's amazing. We don't care about insurance, Frankie. Yeah, well, you should care about cap space. Doesn't appear to be any other news. Nope, doesn't seem to be anything going on except people lying about our quarterback like Nick Faria, that bum. But man, I wonder if we could trade them Adrian Martinez. Maybe they give us a seventh round pick for Adrian Martinez. We need to stop. We need to stockpile some draft picks, man. But if they're going with Kyle Allen and frickin' Hendon Hooker, who's still looking bad after this many years in the league as a backup and still hasn't gotten it, um, man, oh man. And the other thing is, you know, if Harbaugh fixes Lance and Lance goes to some team as a maybe starter type, Zach Wilson should go make a beeline for Los Angeles and get with Harbaugh, because Sean Payton apparently couldn't fix him. Maybe Mike McDaniel, whatever his name is, can't fix him. Who could fix him? Harbaugh. Give Harbaugh Zach Wilson, see what happens. See what happens. He'd be slinging it, slanging it. Brent Musburger in the booth, everybody. Who knew Brent Musburger was still alive? That's amazing. 2025 Pete Rozelle Radio Television Award winner. Brent Musburger. There's a name from the past. Famous broadcaster. He's in the booth with Chris and Tirico. Now, Mike Tirico, I think, is one of the best broadcasters. Collinsworth, he's all right. But I think Mike Tirico, one of the best play-by-play guys out there. I think he is top notch, as opposed to Spiro Dudus and Andrew Catalonis, who stink. And Hooker with a near interception. What are these people even looking at? What are they even looking at? Man. Well, the game's going fast. It's been only 2 hours and 18 minutes and already in the fourth quarter, although it does look a little dark on the field. This is not exactly a professional football field. It's like a sort of a football field of professional quality. Yeah, man. They got problems. I'm telling you, we could sell them on Adrian Martinez. Aaron Glenn can get on the phone, with his old bosses and be like, "We got a guy." Oh, really? Who? Adrian Martinez. Oh, we remember him. Kansas. He runs around. Yeah, yeah. He's worth a 6th round pick. Oh yeah. What do you need a 6th round pick, Detroit? I mean, you don't need it. You're going to the Super Bowl, baby. What do you care about your picks? Fuck them picks. Give us a little 6th round piggy pick. Adrian Martinez. He can run. He good, man. He's so good. He can run around. I mean, he's better than these bums. Kyle Allen Kyle. I mean, he doesn't even know what his first name is, what his last name is. Then you got Hendon Hooker. He looks more like a hooker than a quarterback. I mean, what the hell's going on here? 4th and 3. Shotgun. Can Hooker get it done? Looks right. Can't find anybody. Says go deep. Does a fake run. Oh, boy. This is terrible. Money down. And he down. Money down. And he gone. He gone. They're showing Brent Musburger with Willie Joe Namath. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Yeah, they got nothing, man. I think we can interest them maybe even in a Brady Cook. Trade Brady Cook for a 7th round pick. You know? And get some draft capital. We need draft capital. That's what we need. Just in case. We don't know. I mean, shoot, we could trade him. I mean, if we trade him Tyrod, I mean, we could get maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick for Tyrod. 4th, maybe. Maybe a 5th. Ah, I would stick to a 4th. Yeah. Not that I want to trade Tyrod. I actually think we should extend Tyrod. Yeah, give him a nice 2-year deal. Keep him here for backup purposes. I like Tyrod a lot. These backup quarterbacks are so valuable these days. I mean, Detroit's really risking it. And they didn't even pick one in the draft. I mean, or get a UDFA in here or nothing. I mean, what are they doing? This season could go off the rails for Detroit. And then, then what? I think the question is, how old is Jared Goff? And Goff is still young, though. As long as they have Goff, they'll probably be all right. I mean, they'll probably not be terrible. He's 30. Yeah, he's got 7 more years. Seven more years at least. Jared Goff. All right. Well, this game is getting out of hand, and it's getting kind of late. So I think I'm going to end the broadcast here. We don't have to watch the whole game. Nobody said we have to. So I'm going to end it right now. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you on Sunday. Coffee with Frankie, 10 a.m. Subscribe, like the video, and all that good